Here's my top 10 life-changing stories that have flown under the radar in 2018. This is a video of Border Patrol agents dumping food and water rations left by humanitarian groups.
So you get a good shot picking up this trash somebody left on the trail. It's not yours, is it? All you have to do is tell me, is it yours? It's not yours. You're not going to tell me, huh?
Crossing the border from Mexico into the United States is more dangerous than ever today in our lifetime, and it is absolutely on purpose. The most recent data is brutal. The deaths are getting worse. A lower amount of people are actually coming to try to seek asylum. The deaths are rising. 30 people every month die trying to get into the United States. And do you know why these people are risking their lives? Because they're fleeing their home countries where gangs and impoverishment and corruption and terrible conditions have been created in part by our nation, the United States. Our Cold War intervention policies caused a lot of these problems. Trump is trying to dehumanize and risk their lives that are already in peril just trying to get here, all to prove a point and deter other people from coming. It's pretty sick. Today in America, a college campus is one of the most dangerous places a young woman can be. 1 out of 5 women in college will be raped. 90% of those women will never tell. Of those people who do choose to report, less than 1% will ever have any action taken. So how's Trump and his Secretary of Education, DeVos, making this worse? She's making sweeping changes that will make it easier for men to get away with raping women. She's narrowing the definition of what sexual harassment is so that it must be so severe as to impact the woman's education. So it's not enough to be sexually attacked. We have to prove now that it impacts their education. These changes are regulations. They're not guidelines. They'll become law. Once again, Trump is totally full of shit, lying, saying the opposite of what's true when he claims, and this is a quote, "It's a scary time for men in America." This is categorically not true. Another bullshitting lie by President Trump. Across the nation, there are thousands and thousands of rape kits that will never be tested. Many of these kits are purposely destroyed before they're tested. They are literally thrown out by police before the statute of limitations is over, before it's been tested, because they need shelving space. How can a nation claim to care about women's rights when they do this? The destruction of these kits doesn't just make it all but impossible for anyone to get any type of justice, but it allows rapists to basically be free and keep attacking. The destruction of these kits also eliminates any chance for people who are falsely accused to get exonerated. Guess who those people usually are in the United States? Black men and other people of color. So, I mean, this is disgusting. Do you remember the Thanksgiving romaine lettuce scare? Well, many people don't know this, but 6 months before that happened and people were sickened from contaminated romaine lettuce, Trump's FDA responded to pressure from the farm industry, and they ordered the elimination of certain regulations. They pushed back water testing for possibly 4 more years. Many people believe it's these rollbacks and the reliance on voluntary measures that continue to put people's lives at risk. Whether it's true or not that it's actually his fault, the real story of this is Trump has basically presented a danger of widespread rollbacks of environmental safeties that are going to kill people. Trump has a bottom line, and that is first and foremost always, and that's the economy, money, and big business. There's going to be a human toll to this, and it is going to be ugly. For decades, crops in the United States have been sprayed with dangerous chemicals that other countries ban. These chemicals damage developing brains, they cause reduced IQ, they stop people from having a good memory, and they've been linked to attention deficit disorder and other horrible, horrible developmental issues. These pesticides have been banned in the United States for 17 years. So what does Trump have to do with this? Our current administration and their agrochemical companies that they're linked to are moving to curb the role of human health studies, actual science, in regulating what poisons can and cannot be used as pesticides. They literally want to stop scientific studies from being entered into evidence to determine whether something is safe or not. profitability is their ultimate guideline. And this is sick. The Paris Climate Agreement. The United States is the second largest producer of pollution, just behind China. Without our participation in the Paris Climate Agreement, it may be impossible for the rest of the world to successfully stave off global warming. Yet, based on his actions, it appears that Trump doesn't comprehend the Paris Climate Agreement. Yes, that's right. He doesn't mentally understand what it is. This was made painfully obvious when he misquoted and misrepresented an MIT climate study saying it was supporting withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. His statements were so outrageous that the study's author, the guy who wrote it, ended up speaking out on camera saying that Trump didn't understand the study, and his study concluded the exact opposite of what Trump claimed. Right after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, Trump buried a dire climate change report, and you should know about it. The National Climate Assessment, which is endorsed by NASA and the Defense Department and 11 other federal scientific agencies, contradicts nearly every single position that Trump has taken on the issue of climate change. The report is blunt. It says, climate change is happening now and humans are causing it. Earth's climate is now changing faster than at any point in the history of modern civilization, primarily as a result of human activity. It's like the first sentence of it. The report originally was scheduled to be released in December at a large scientific conference in Washington, D.C., but the Trump administration decided that the report should come out 2 weeks early on the afternoon of Black Friday, so it would be buried. Preschoolers are required to defend themselves in immigration court. As if Trump's law separating children from their parents isn't horrific enough, you're not going to believe this one. Immigrant children, some as young as 2 and 3 and 4 years old, are being ordered into court and required to represent themselves in their own deportation proceedings.
Elmo, what country are you from?
I'm from red country.
The red country?
I see pink clothes.
Yes, you heard me correctly. Migrants seeking asylum do not have the inherent right to an attorney because they're not U.S. citizens. So they are forcibly separating these toddlers from their parents. And then they're giving the children a piece of paper that explains that there are some nonprofit organizations in the area that might be able to help them with their legal proceedings. They are forced to represent themselves in immigration court without a translator. The statistics are back and they're not pretty. Trump spent 25% of his time in 2018 as president at his own Trump-owned golf properties. You might think, well, come on, being the president's really stressful. He deserves, a break, right? Well, apparently even Trump didn't agree with that when Obama was president.
Because I'm going to be working for you. I'm not going to have time to go play golf, and believe me.
I love golf. I think it's one of the greats, but I don't have time. 250 rounds, that's more than a guy who plays on the PGA Tour plays.
Obama ought to get off the golf course and get down there.
State-sponsored news. Trump's bias towards Fox News borders upon being state-sponsored news. He has his own special channel, just like dictators do. Trump's bias for Fox News is really awful. He watches them on a daily basis. He live tweets from them. He bestows more interviews on this network than any other news outlet, and he's an avid viewer. He treats them preferentially at news conferences, and he makes it crystal clear to his followers that this is the only real news station, and everyone else is fake. Additionally, Fox News people are now in senior administration positions in his cabinet. In the comments below, let me know if you think of any other news stories that have flown under the radar. And tell me what you think of the video, okay? I want to know if you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white America to take racial responsibility. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. I have a live show that I stream from my YouTube channel. I do it every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The topics are anything about racism, bigotry, and inequality that you, the audience, wants to talk about. I read your messages and we have a discussion. So I'd love you to join me. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.